Hi guys.
Hey, this is Eric.
I'm Olivia. You're Not So Average Travelers here. Coming to you from our new and improved recording area.
Coming back from a new cruise, new experience that we'd love to talk about.
It wasn't a new cruise.
Okay, it was a new cruise.
It wasn't a new experience. It was the Disney Fantasy, which we've been on before. The difference is it's been like 5+ years since we've been on the Fantasy.
To me, it was like a new experience.
Okay, that could be fair. I guess it was new because we went this time without children.
No children. It was last time we went was
Again, 5 years ago.
5 years ago. So,
but we went because it was Halloween on the high seas, which is always a good time.
Which, if you're not familiar, that means you can wear costumes on the boat.
It's a ship.
It is a ship.
I am bougie. It is a ship.
So, you bring costumes. There's a whole Halloween experience at the sea day. It was great.
We had the option to trick or treat this time. Like adults were able to trick or treat. We did not take advantage of that because we had plenty of candy from another activity that we had done earlier. We didn't even need to go trick or treating, but it was a lot of fun to go on deck and see the Halloween kind of festivities and then hang out in the atrium area when everyone was getting their pictures taken and see the creativity.
And if you're familiar with the sister ships of the Dream and the Fantasy, there's deck 3 where you enter onto the ship and they announce your name as you're embarking on the ship. They say, "Welcome aboard, Stoltz family." And that's the 3rd floor. On the 4th floor, there's a camera area where you can look at the pictures and you can look down upon the atrium. It's probably the best viewing anywhere on the ship of the costume nights and the different events that are going on. It's also where you can see a good view of the tree, the Halloween tree.
That was a lot of exposition. But yes, deck 4 is a good spot, or deck 5 you can look down also, but deck 4 you can at least see more detail on things as far as people in costumes, and a lot of your characters are hanging out on deck 4 as well for photos and whatnot. So that's where the top of the spiral staircase happens to be, is right there. The landing is there at deck 4. So it's a really good photo opportunity spot. Shutters is what the name of the photo place is that you were thinking of, which is across the atrium from the Vista Cafe, which is the coffee shop.
One of Olivia's favorite places to go.
Things you need to know. But what I forgot about on the Fantasy, because it's been a few years, like we mentioned, since we've been on there, we really enjoy the adults only areas on this ship and on the Dream because they're very similar. The differences, though, is that the Fantasy is very European as far as their design,
their theme,
yes. So you walk in and it's very Parisian. It's called the Carousel. There's a legit carousel right there in the middle. It's a bar. And then you're sitting around said carousel area. And that was an area where they had some craft things. They had trivias there.
Yeah, it's one of the core areas where they do a lot of the events throughout the day.
And then, of course, you have your pub. And then there's the champagne bar area, too.
Did you ever go into the champagne bar?
No, I walked by it a lot of times, but I never ended up walking in there.
I felt like they were like in a fishbowl. Because as we were sitting there for a trivia one day, I look back and there's a wine tasting or champagne tasting.
Yeah, there was lots of tastings in there.
And that's really where they do a lot of the, I call it the highbrow tastings, not rum, not the whiskey. It's all the champagnes. But anyway, I was leaning up against it and I realized I was leaning up against the door. And then I just looked back and there was a bunch of people staring at me because they thought I was going to fall through the door as I was waiting.
Rightfully so. I would have been concerned as well. Yeah. The only thing that part, it was really easy to get congested in there. Like there's not a lot of room to move around in that one, which I think is why they fixed that on the Dream. You can definitely walk around in the Dream a little bit easier. And then the little walkway is supposed to be very like Barcelona-esque, as far as it's a winding pathway, which is one of my again, TMI as far as this goes, the restrooms in these areas are really cool.
They really are.
They're rounded, so you open up the door, and then there's like 2 or 3 stalls in there that like you literally.
It's like a circle and a circle and a circle.
It's crazy. It's a really cool
with a mirrored ceiling.
Yeah, it's fancy, but either way, and that took us to the Tube after you walked through there, and the Tube is very. I mean, it's designed after London.
It's like a London train station,
otherwise known as the Tube.
Yeah. If you're not familiar, that is the direction that they went with this.
And that's pretty much where we hung out most of the time. This cruise, we had a really good group of cast members that were our adults entertainment staff at Seas with Emmy. Fantastic. Just a good time. I think even she said she was surprised how many people kept showing up, but we showed up for you. We showed up because we were having a good time. So that's where most of the trivias were, as far as like, we did, it was what, 70s music trivia, 80s music trivia, 90s music trivia.
We did all of
it. We did 2000s and 2010s. And I think
we missed one because we were at Palo.
Yeah, we missed one for dinner. And that
I think that was the 80s.
So no, we missed.
That's one we probably could have won.
Yeah.
But we didn't.
It's fine. It's fine. We were good. Either way. Yeah, so that's pretty much. And then, of course, you have your up. We went to the Satellite Falls, is what it's called, the adults only area.
That's the first time I've actually been up in that area. Been able to sit there, and I didn't know that was a sitting pool.
Yeah, it was pretty awesome.
I've only seen it at night when I'm like walking around after the fireworks, because usually I get up to deck level 13 for fireworks, and you can take the stairs up to it. But that's the first time I've actually sat in the waterfall.
It's fantastic.
It was definitely a good, quiet area. It
was roughly, so it's literally a falls. It reminds, so it's like this, and then the waterfall comes over the top, basically like an umbrella. And then there's a seating area right here, right? Am I kind of describing this correctly? Like a park bench that would come over and sit. Waterfall comes up. So, like, if we were sitting under there, the waterfall would go. So what it is,
it's a representation of a satellite dome for another ship, but instead of actually having a satellite in it, they have it as a water feature.
There you go.
That's why they call it Satellite Falls.
Anyway, it was awesome. It was quiet. It was perfect spot for sun, and it was warm enough for sun, and the water temperature was great because the water's not really deep, so it didn't have the opportunity to get super cold, and yeah, it was a great place just to kind of relax, and it was adults only, which is even better.
It was interesting. During one of the mornings, I was able to go up there after breakfast, and I had a monster with me, and I was able to sit down in this little covered area just on the side of the Satellite Falls, watching the island. I think it was the second hop to Castaway that morning, and I could look at the island and listen to the show that I was listening to, and it was just very calming.
That's good. That's what it's supposed to be. So that was one of the other reasons why we did the fantasy this trip, not just because it was Halloween at the High Seas, it was because it did a double dip, meaning 2 stops at Castaway Cay. Excuse me. And then it also went to the new private island, Lookout Cay. Or Lookout Point.
No, it's Lookout Cay.
Okay, I was right the first time. Hooray. Either way, so it was our first time experiencing that long walk, and it's not for the faint of heart.
It is a legit walk.
It is. I mean, it's a mile. Be prepared. But it was well worth it.
I was looking for the 5K medal after I got off the ship.
Everyone made that joke.
I'm going to make the joke too.
Okay.
It's what you got to do. You'll know. If you know, you know.
I mean, it was very picturesque. The cove right there and the sea. When we walked on the way back, we saw fish, and it was just super clear. So it was beautiful.
Yeah, it was very clear water.
Very clear water, and just pretty. It's what you want it to be when you go and have a beach day. It's what you think of. So.
But the thing is, we didn't just go to the Disney part of the island. The difference between Lookout Cay and Castaway Cay is Castaway Cay is actually a cay. It's owned and operated by Disney.
It's private.
It's a private island. Whereas Lookout Cay is actually part of a larger island. It's not even a cay. So I don't know why they...
I think it's Lookout Point. As much as you keep saying cay at this point, it's got to be Lookout Point.
Lookout Point is the island area, I believe.
Either way, we're really good about we did a really good job researching this and remembering where we went. But he's right. Lookout is not somewhere that is its own private island. It is a private resort sanctuary that Disney owns and is kind of revitalizing this island, which is fantastic.
We went on a tour of the island, and we went through the Disney tour company to do this tour. And it was honestly one of the more laid back tours that I've been on. You got to see the island as a whole. It's not a huge island.
No.
But I mean, you could definitely tell that Disney's putting a lot of effort into this island to make sure that people are coming back, that the economy's starting to come back, and you can start to see it in the people and kind of the community.
And they're excited about it too, which is good. And that's nothing worse than being somewhere where they don't want you to be there. So all in all, I mean, I definitely agree. It was a good experience. It'll be interesting to see how the additional changes and the additional kind of benefits that end up showing up the more we go and see. So
what was your favorite thing about the new resort Lookout?
I don't know that I have like just one. I really like it. Reminded me a lot of like the Carolinas as far as like beach on the East Coast style, where you had your sandbar and like everything's on a boardwalk, like they built up on top of everything. And then you walk down either the ramp or the stairs to a little area that was kind of a little bit more secluded, where you had some lounge chairs and beach chairs where families could spread out. And I can tell you, most of the chairs, most of the things were pretty empty. It was a really windy day, and that could be some of it. But there was nowhere where I looked that I thought I can't sit down and relax here.
I would say we actually made it back to the island later than people were that originally got off the boat, because we just got off the tour. The tour was about 3 hours. So it was just past lunch. It was like 1 to 2 o'clock.
We barely made it to the restaurant to be able to eat before they shut it down, which was fine. But anyway, what I was saying is after like in that little cove area where the chairs and stuff were at, you then would have to kind of walk up over another ramp or another staircase to be able to get over that sand dune to actually be on the beach. And it was just gorgeous. Everything was right there. Yeah, it was just really serene and really picturesque and very laid back, and I really enjoyed it. So, and then they did there was a little Junkanoo parade that happens.
Junkanoo party, yeah.
That happens a couple times on the island, and it's just really fun. You can tell the locals got in on it, and a couple surprise characters got in on it too. So it was fun. It's a good time.
I would say that the piers and the walkways are probably some of my favorite features that Disney's ever put into any of the resorts. It's just a very elaborate pathway.
You're talking about the boardwalk?
The boardwalk, yeah.
Okay. I was like, the pier we already discussed. That's the long mile walk that you have to do.
Boardwalk, they're protecting the land by putting all of these boardwalks in place.
Yeah, so that way nobody ruins the nature and the things that are there. So they're definitely going on the side of conservation on that too, which is great.
Which is interesting because they're planting grass where there wasn't grass before. The tour guide said that he's never seen grass in these areas, and here it is growing now. So he called it all Disney magic, which I thought was a little funny when you start to think about the island. And he grew up, he was born there. So to really have that perspective of Disney can bring magic to anyone at any time.
And kind of cool. Magic for them was grass.
Magic for them was grass in the sand.
But yeah, it was I definitely highly recommend going. I'm looking forward to going back again so we can experience more of just the island aspect of things, and we probably wouldn't do another tour because unless there's something that we're like, oh, we definitely need to go see that again. I'm glad we did it, and I'm glad we had that opportunity. But yeah, that was part of why we did the schedule we did, was for that reason, to be able to experience that new island stop. So do I prefer it over Castaway Cay?
Do you?
I do.
Really?
I do. And it's probably just because it's shiny and new.
That's maybe why. See, we didn't get to go to Serenity Bay or Serenity Beach.
We didn't make it that far.
And I think that if we did, maybe that'd be a little bit different. Also, we didn't play in the water. So I don't know. I can't say that I like it more than Castaway Cay. You might be a little jaded. You've been there quite a bit, and it is shining as new, and it is beautiful. But I'll
again, well, let us know your
I'll hold my judgment until
you get to swim
more. Yeah, till I actually step foot in the water there.
We'll see if anybody else has any comments and has their favorite spot. But to be determined. I could go back there next time and I could have the worst experience ever, and I could be like, guys, don't waste your time.
I don't think that'll ever be the case.
No. Any beach day is a good beach day as far as I'm concerned, even if it's like the worst weather ever.
So that is a tip when you're looking at cruising Disney. Anytime you can get a double dip or multiple beaches, those are free, and by far the cleanest areas that you'll be on most of these ports are the Disney islands for sure. Yeah, agreed. So that's our favorite. Something to look at when you are planning, or you reach out to Olivia to help you plan your vacation. Free beach days. Free beach days. Love a free beach day. Yep. I mean, obviously, if you're adding things on like inner tubes or different excursions and stuff, those aren't free. But if you just want to go and play in the water, build sandcastles, swim, snorkel. You have your snorkel stuff. Also, one of the things that we found out towards the end of our stay on Lookout Cay was for accessible and handicapped, they do have system for people that have trouble walking, that have trouble getting down the pier. There is a way you can go and wait in line, and they'll basically drive you the mile and drive you back to the ship. So it's something to remember if you do have challenges with walking and mobility. They've got you covered there. Also, one thing that was new that we saw on Castaway Cay this time that I also saw at Lookout and then again at Castaway Cay the second time we went is wagons. They have wagons like Lifetime style plastic red wagons that you can rent or borrow, and you can put your kids in there, put all your sand stuff in there, and you don't have to worry about them complaining about walking any of that. Pull them in the wagon. That in itself was, I was like, game changer. That is fantastic. Somebody's been reading their comment cards. Great idea. In Castaway Cay, it's good because you could walk it all the way to the beach. Mm-hmm. In Lookout Cay, it was you could take it to the tram. Yeah. The tram, just for everyone's notification, is a 5 to 10 minute long tram from the pier to the resort area. Yeah, but it's very picturesque and it's very pretty. And they have 2 trams that run at the same time. So if you missed the first one, the first 2, I should say, it was not even. Oh yeah, the wait. It was just a couple minutes, and then there was 2 more that were right there, so it wasn't overcrowded. I didn't feel like we were like sometimes on Castaway, we're all jamming into those trams because we're the fight for the seat. Fun. We gotta get in. Like that was never the case there. And so again, I don't know if it's just because they have the ability to have more trams running. But it's great. I appreciated that. And as you're going to the resort, they'll actually give you some of the background and some of the theming that they've put into play. It was really cute. The characters that you'll meet on the island and at the resort. I feel like we should stop calling it a resort because it doesn't have rooms there. But it is a place to hang out that is a private beach area. So I'm calling it now. They will have a resort there within 10 years. There's no way that they don't. You heard it here first, folks. I know nothing about it, but I think that they're just kind of laying the infrastructure for it, for sure. Right. Well, all in all, Halloween on the High Seas, extremely successful. Glad we went. The new island experience was great. The adults only entertainment, fantastic. Went to Palo for dinner this time. We haven't done that in a long time. So good. It was beyond yeah. And our server was amazing. She was great. Thanks, Natalie. Yeah. Things you learn and things that you remember off of a Disney cruise, your servers' names. People who make an impact on you. And that's part of what we love about cruising with Disney is because we have those experiences and we meet these people that we enjoy seeing and we love going back and checking in, saying hi, and they kind of become an extension of us, which is part of, I don't know. Part of the fun. Part of the love, the Disney love.
So yeah, that's why we tear up a little every time we have to leave, and they're like, "See you real soon," with their big old mitts on, and then we just tears, silent tears. Anyways, but hope everyone had a great Halloween. We did. It was pretty crazy here. It's getting cold. We're kind of winding down on our trips for this year, but you'll definitely hear about more of our things and more of our travels as we go about. Please hit us up if there's anything you want us to talk about or anything that you would like us to investigate or know more about. We're happy to share the knowledge.
And with that, signing off.
See you real soon, everyone. Bye, guys. Bye.